Welcome to the Standard and Rich podcast, where finance meets fun. Join your hosts Danny Gallo and Jonathan Elkoubi as they navigate the complex world of finance with a touch of humor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Standard and Rich podcast, joined by your host, myself, Jonathan Elkoubi, and Danny Gallo. Today, we're going to be talking about one of our favorite companies. We both own this company. Full disclosure here, we both own this company. We're going to be talking about Tesla. Let's start off with the financial side of Tesla. It's a great company run by a great CEO. So let's start off with the financials. With a 10-year CAGR, a revenue CAGR of 47.3%, and a 10-year free cash flow CAGR of 144%. Sounds unbelievable. Unsustainable numbers. I don't predict these numbers to happen in the future, but anything's possible with all the new stuff they're coming out with, which we're going to be talking about later in the episode. We're going to show you why it's possible to achieve these growth numbers. 97 billion revenue right now in 2023 with a net income of 15 billion. And a valuation, what's their valuation right now? I have to check. Do you have it? I'll check.
Tesla has a valuation?
737 billion.
I was going to say 7.
Okay, yeah, 737 billion. So, not bad for right now for a fast-growing company. Cash and cash equivalents, 16 billion. Now, total assets, 82 billion. And total liabilities, 36 billion, which gives us an equity of 45 billion. So you could see they're very asset light. It only takes them 45 billion of shareholders' equity to produce 15 billion in profit, and their profit's only going to keep increasing as they get more efficient, and as their other parts of their business, like the Tesla electricity business, the Optimus side, the taxi robots, all this stuff is going to come online. It's only going to increase their profitability, and they're already capital light. So imagine how much more capital lighter they're going to be. I'm making up words here, but they're going to be a lot less capital intensive, and they're already not capital intensive. So that's a good sign for the company. We have a growing free cash flow, and they're basically investing for the future. They have a lot of investments for the future, so that's why we see a lower free cash flow than net income. The free cash flow is 4 billion, and the net income is 15. So they're investing. A lot of their profit is going into the future. So that's what we like to see for a long-term investor. Danny, what do we have to talk about for the actual business? What's coming out? What's the new stuff about the company?
So Tesla came out today with their number of vehicles delivered in Q2. So Wall Street was expecting 438,000 vehicles delivered, and they actually delivered 443,956 vehicles to be exact. What was more crazy is another data that they shared, which was that their energy deployments were 9.4 gigawatts in the quarter. So that's a record high. Just to give you an example, that's 132% increase from Q1. So they're having huge growth on that side. They also, at the same time, released a statement saying that they're cutting the price of the Megapack by 15%. So I think they're trying really aggressively right now to enter the energy market and really make a dent out of it. Making more of a brand awareness, because a lot of people that are buying this are countries like Australia, New Zealand. You also have states like Texas, California, that all have problems with their grids during peak heat or peak cold, and those batteries are actually bringing a lot of stabilization to their grids. So that was one of the things I was really bullish on. Tesla was actually their energy side that's just been compounding at a nice growth. It still has ways to go to catch up to their cars, but Elon said that eventually the value of their energy sector will be higher than their own automotive sector at one point. There's also Optimus this year that they spoke about a little bit. There's 10 Optimus right now working at Tesla. They're expecting to have 1,000 working at Tesla by next year. And I think he was saying that he wanted to start production on Optimus in the next few years. So that's bringing light to the light at the tunnel there. There's also the semi-trucks. They're building the new factory for that to be able to produce and deliver more semis. I think right now they've delivered over 100 semis to Costco and Pepsi for them to use. There's been very nice reviews from the drivers and from the companies. I think it could do 1,000 miles before it has to be charged. So that's pretty insane. The automotive sector, obviously, they're just waiting for their 25K car before they could really start having a huge production. That they're going to try to do it a different way to produce it. And I'm pretty sure the way they're going to try to produce it, that for that car, they're going to try to bring that model to the other cars. So they're always trying to invent and perfection ways of manufacturing cars and having less steps and being more productive. So they're always working on productivity, and it drives costs less. I think they have from mining the mineral to producing and delivering the car, the fastest, I forget what the word is, but that process is the fastest between all the companies, even like Fords and GMs. So that's why they could adapt a little faster when it comes to price changing, because they also have less inventory than other car companies as well. And yeah, that's it. So Optimus, you could see every 6 months, he's getting better and better. If you look at his hands and the movements that the hands do, they look like actual hands. They could pick up an egg, take it, put it on another place without breaking it. The move, it could recognize a green square, and put it at the green spot. Like, it's pretty awesome what it's able to do right now. And obviously you have Robotaxi that's getting unveiled on 8/8, so August 8th this year, which could continue the cycle of good news we've been having in the Tesla community. So we've been having a year, the past year has been a lot of negative headlines, so it's been driving the stock lower and lower. And now you could see a lot of positive headlines that are coming in and just helping the stock finally start to rebound. It was down 30%, I think, year to date at one point, and now we're down 7%. We've grown 25% just in the past 5 days. Well, 7 days, because anyways, not counting the weekends.
And for my price, I'm up like 64%, huh?
Yeah, you bought practically at the bottom when you went in. Glad I opened your eyes on Tesla.
Converted me from the biggest Tesla hater. I used to be the biggest Tesla hater.
Oh my God, we used to talk about Tesla all the time, and you used to hate on Tesla all the time. Like, doesn't make sense. And now you're becoming a Tesla bull.
It's important to keep your mind open and be ready to switch your ideas, because you're not always right, and you can't get your ego in the way of things. You gotta be able to have an open mind and think about things and rationally. So
Well, you
I
saw the evaluation; it was pretty low for past Tesla types
yeah.
evaluation, and
So
there's so many things coming down the pipeline.
for
Yeah,
me,
go
I'm a
ahead.
pretty cheap guy. I don't really want to buy expensive valuation companies. I usually don't dabble into that type of stuff. I think like the most I would go is like 25, but like if you give me a high growth rate, because there's no way to like prove a high growth rate, to guarantee that the future is going to be certain, you know. But
Yeah,
I think I picked up Tesla like a 20p, and it's a pretty good guarantee that'll match that growth rate for that price that I paid. So like it was a safe
yeah,
investment at 140, you know,
I think it was 25, something like that, around that area.
around that area.
But yeah, you did. Yeah, look, there might be still some short-term headwinds, but we'll see. We'll see after Q2 if they fixed what they wanted to fix. If really the problems were just like Germany, they had to shut down their plants for 2 weeks. Q1. So now we'll see. Okay, was it just that? Was it a demand problem? Was it not? So they've had nice numbers come out of China too. So that's been pretty nice. They beat yet again the competition in China, which is what's the name of the main company in China that's been doing cars like crazy.
I think it is the one Warren Buffett bought.
That Warren Buffett had. Yeah, exactly.
Let me search this up.
BYD.
Yeah,
BYD. So
BYD.
BYD had delivered 426,000 cars, and Tesla did 440, practically 440,000,
Oh, so it beat them.
444,000. So they beat them yet again. So the news isn't going to come out with the headlines of them beating BYD again, like BYD did Q4 last year. But I don't know. Legacy Media doesn't like another company that owns a media company.
Yeah, and I just want to circle back on the electricity company. You said one day it's going to be bigger than the car company.
Yeah.
Just to give you guys perspective, the electricity company right now is only 1% of Tesla's revenues. So if that's going to grow bigger than the car company, it's going to have a long way to grow, right? Like, it's going to be like at least 50
Yeah.
times bigger than it is right now.
Yeah, and they think, and Elon said Optimus is going to be bigger than the energy company.
So we have a lot of
So,
growth room on every angle. We have like 5 different arrows pointing in 5 different directions, and everything's growing at a good rapid pace. I mean, it's a no-brainer investment here.
yeah, and look, AI is demanding a lot of energy right now. So battery storage could be good for all these all these data centers that are getting built across the world. So it's already becoming a problem. I think it just came out today, actually after hours. Google's they were talking about Google, how its consumption has grown like 50% since 2019, just mostly due because of yeah, that's it.
Their
So
servers.
Google's carbon emissions surged by nearly 50% since 2019 due to AI energy demand. So
Mm.
it is going to become a problem if you have all these huge companies that are all increasing their energy demands like that. So it could be a more bullish scenario for Tesla to have that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey guys, don't forget to click the links below to sign up on Wealthsimple and Questrade to start investing. You will get a free $25 and $50 sign-up bonus with any deposit amount over $1. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe our podcast.
And do you want us to transition over to the stock market battle segment? Let's summarize what happened in the last few weeks. Who won? Who beat who?
Okay, so right now we'll go to the one that's ending this week is Alibaba against PDD. So Alibaba is down 6% in the past month, and PDD is down 11% in the past month. So congratulations, Jonathan. You have won the China battle. And remember, kids, remember this. Be careful when investing in China.
Don't invest in China, kids.
Don't invest in China. Invest in India.
That's
Very
a
bullish
spoiler.
on India, just by
Spoiler.
the way. Yeah, it's
Spoiler
a
right here.
spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Bullish on
Okay,
India.
so with that being said, Jonathan, you can go with your stock pick of the week.
So now it's 3-2. So I have to catch up. I'm gonna pick.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give you some context to this pick, Bill Ackman once said, "The greatest investment you could ever make would be betting on the growth of spending." So it's a guarantee that people will spend more each year, and if you go 10 years from now in the future, their people are spending more than before. You know what I mean? So how can you get in between spending? Payment processing. So Visa is the company I'm picking. Visa is in between almost every transaction. I think they process trillions and trillions of transaction. I don't know what the number is, but it's gotten really large at this point. It's a strong growth company, consistent growth, and it's basically guaranteed as guaranteed can get, the growth in this company. It is a rich valuation for what it is, but I think the guarantee of the growth is why that valuation is so rich. I mean, GDP is only going to increase every year. Even if there's a recession, GDP will decrease 1 year and maybe 2 years, and then it'll go back up to normal. As long as it's a productive economy and a capitalist economy, in theory, should always have growing GDP. So I think that this is a good company just for that. Plus, they capture revenue growth in growing markets like India and all the other growing markets like China. Not as much, obviously, as their own payment processors, but they capture growth from every angle. It's very diversified, multiple countries. It's a massive company. And I just think of it as a guaranteed bond. It's a guaranteed bond payment. Like, it will guaranteed to grow. So that's what I think of it. What is your pick for this week's, Danny?
So I've been eyeing this company forever, and I've talked to you about this as well, and I still punch myself in the face for not jumping at it before. Still thinking about it, but it's grown so much since I first looked at it. I'm just sad. So it's called Intuitive Surgical. So they're a global technology leader in minimally invasive robotic assisted surgery. So their flagship product is actually called the Da Vinci Surgical System. So they help surgeons to perform complex procedures with enhanced precision, flexibility, and control. So the main thing the investors look at normally when their quarter comes up and they have to report earnings is literally their Da Vinci Surgical System and how many times it was used as well. So they've been caggering pretty nice the past few years. Their Da Vinci system last year, in 2021, they sold approximately 1,300, and in 2023 they were at 1,005. They reached $7 billion in revenue compared to $5 billion in revenue in 2021. The product has been getting used more and more. And since COVID-19, that brought a lot of pressure into healthcare with nurses, doctors, and all that. They've been having a hard time. Just they haven't had the amount of employees that they would want to have, because a lot of people just left the healthcare because they felt abandoned in that. So the Da Vinci system really comes to help the doctors to perform better surgeries and not need extra hands to do it. I think it's going to keep growing and growing. Let me just find the percentage of use of the Da Vinci system past 2 years. I know it said it in their earnings data, but I don't have it right in front of me right now. So yeah, they recorded in the first quarter. They recorded a year-over-year increase of 26% in the Da Vinci's procedures. So this surge was driven primarily by colonoscopies, bariatric surgery, and hernia repair procedures. On average, the use of each Da Vinci system grew by 13% to the previous years. So it's getting used more and more. I think there's a new Da Vinci product that's coming out next year, if I'm not mistaken. Overall, very bullish on this company because you don't need extra pair of hands, and it's really less intrusive for the patient as well. So that's my case on ISRJ.
Well, let's see who wins that week. I think that's a good point to end off the episode. Just reminding everyone, please like and subscribe. Helps us out a lot. Comment. If you want us to look at any companies, leave them down in the comments. We'll look at the companies and we'll check them out. We'll talk about them on the podcast, see what we think about them. And yeah, that's a good point to end it off. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Before we go, a quick reminder. While we love discussing financial topics, we are not financial advisors. The information provided in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.